Hey guys, it's Superior and welcome to PHP tutorial number 4. In the previous tutorial we looked at starting out with variables, but we didn't define variables with one of the types ourselves. We just assigned a predefined value to them. So in this tutorial we're going to be looking at defining these variables with one of the types I discussed in the previous tutorial, and that is strings. Okay, so basically a string is any quotated group of characters. Okay, so as you can see here, hello between single quotes is a string, 54321 between single quotes is a string. Note, it doesn't matter what type of quotes that it's between. It can be between single quotes or double quotes. Works fine. My name is Chris Fenton. Between double quotes is fine. And also note, by characters I mean not only just letters, but also numbers and punctuation. So a comma is a character, and when it's between any type of quotes, it's a string. Okay, and the reason it's basically called a string is because a string is basically a group of characters. I'm sure people can understand why it's called a string. So those are all strings, and now to give our variable a string value, all we have to do is make that variable by using the $sign and then giving our variable an identifier. Use the assignment operator and then type in a string, which again is a group of characters between quotations. And I've just declared and defined my name with a value of Chris Fenton between single quotes, and done the same thing but with the value between double quotes to demonstrate it means exactly the same thing if they're between double quotes or single quotes. Now, I just had to comment this out because it does cause an error, but basically a string has to start with and end with the same type of quotation. So here you can see I've started with a double quote and I've ended with a single quote, which won't work, which is why you can see this stuff is still highlighted grey as if it was a string. If I change this to that and then put a semicolon there and I just have to comment that out, it works fine. Okay. Another problem is if we try and use the same type of quotes inside our string that we use to open and close that string. Here you can see I'm opening and closing the string with double quotes. See? Okay. But I'm also using double quotes inside that string. And if we just take these away, which is the stuff that makes it work, we can see this stuff isn't highlighted grey when it should be to represent it's a string. And the reason being is because what PHP thinks we're doing is we're opening it here, then closing it here, then opening it again here, and closing it again here. So all we have to do is what's called escaping, and we just type a backward slash, and that will escape the quote. Okay. There are lots of ways of escaping things, which I'll cover in a later tutorial. Okay. So when we escape those quotes, this actually results to opening a paragraph tag. Jill came in, and then we're writing in bold text. We're saying what the hell is going on in quotes in bold text as well. She said, full stop, close the paragraph. And to show that without all these tags and these escapes, we've just printed it, and this demonstrates the two ways of printing out strings, which is outside of double quotes or inside of double quotes, and this way, which doesn't actually work, which is inside single quotes. So let's go ahead and see the result of this. We can see let's just bring this down. First two ways, which is outside of quotes, does exactly the same way as inside of quotes. Okay, but when it's that's inside double quotes as well. But when it's inside single quotes, it just outputs the string literal. Okay. Now, sorry, just trying to look at my own script. Let's just bring this back up and minimize it. Okay, so here what we're actually doing is outputting a combination of string literals and the values inside variables, okay? And if we take a look at what that does, is because the value inside the variable my name is equal to Chris Fenton, what we're actually doing is we're outputting the string literal greetings, comma, and then we're boldening the value of my name, and because we're using double quotes, this works, just typing in $sign and then the variable identifier, and then we're closing the bolded text, putting a full stop and closing the paragraph. We can see here this outputs, as expected, the string literal greetings, comma, Chris Fenton in bold text, full stop. Okay. And now I just demonstrate pretty much the same thing again, combining string literals and variables in a print statement. I define two variables called author and assign them the value of one variable called author and assigning a value of a sub 12 inside single quotes, and another called tutorial and assigning a value of PHP tutorial number 4 inside double quotes, just to again demonstrate it doesn't actually matter. And then inside double quotes I start out a paragraph and I say the tutorial titled the value inside tutorial was written by the value inside author, and that in the end outputs, and I've also used emphasis tags and bold tags, says the tutorial titled PHP tutorial number 4, which is the value inside tutorial here, was written by author, a sub 12, and if I change this I can change that to Chris Fenton. Okay, so now it says the tutorial title PHP tutorial number 4 was written by Chris Fenton, as opposed to a sub 12, and I can output random string. Oops, random. Okay, now it says the tutorial title random string was written by Chris Fenton. Okay, so quick tutorial on string type variables. In the next tutorial we're going to be looking at concatenating strings, which I'll explain again in the next tutorial. Over and out, guys.